So I've got the Synology DS423 Plus that has been sitting in my home office, running 24/7, kind of almost 24/7 without a break for one full year. I got it right a little bit over 1 year ago, right? And this thing promised to be the answer for everyone that is a serious home user or ranking up to a small business owner. And at the time, it was sold as the perfect box for my massive backups, a killer Plex server that could handle 4K, and a private cloud for my important files. But after a little over a year, which is an eternity in the tech world, a full year of constantly being on, except when it overheats, where the marketing promises, and it's hard to face realities. Okay? It's not just a review after a week of messing around. It's the long story of pushing this machine within every single possible limit I can push it to. Well, as long as my budget approved. So, how did it actually do? I'm gonna show you what I still genuinely love about this NAS, because I still do, and the things that have really started to annoy me over time. And the answer to the big question is, at the time of recording this video in late 2025, you might be watching this early 2026, should you even consider buying one? We'll get to the good, the bad, and the little details that only a year of constant use can show you. If you've been thinking about getting one, but aren't sure if it's still worth your money, this video is for you. So, alright, let's get right to it. The biggest question mark hanging over the DS423 Plus for me is its brain, the Intel Celeron J4125 CPU. The processor first came out in late 2019, if I'm right. That means a NAS released in 2023 was already using a 4-year-old chip from day one. Now, in late 2025, we are talking about a 6-year-old CPU inside a product that still sells for a premium price. Was that a huge mistake? Has that old processor become the Achilles that just cripples its performance today? We'll get into that, because my answer is a lot more interesting than a simple yes or no. So let's talk about the setup and how I use this from day to day. So because before we can talk about how this really performed, we need to know exactly how I've been using this over the last 8,760 plus hours. Because a long-term review is useless without transparency, because if I'm going to lie to you, you might as well just stop watching this video right now. So here's my full setup. The DS423 Plus for me was one of the last models before Synology started locking down hard drives compatibility. You know that news. This model still plays nice with popular third-party NAS drives like Western Digital Plus, which has become a huge advantage even now with newer models of those drives, like the DS425 Plus, which the successor to this, 425 Plus, will restrict you to Synology approved drives only. I set this up in my Synology hybrid RAID setup, SHIR, if that's the name, SHR. So if you're new to this, SHR is one of Synology's best features. It's a smart RAID system that lets you use different size drives and still protect you if one of the drives fail. So if any of my 4 drives died today, all of my data will still be sort of safe. I could just pop a new one in and the system would rebuild itself. It's essentially the foundation of peace of mind in a way. So for me, the DS423 Plus comes in with a measly 2GB of RAM. Seriously, even phones have 16GB of RAM. And it's soldiered on the motherboard. And let's be honest, that is not enough even for a mobile phone. It's just good enough for storing files. So on my second week, I added a 4GB stick of RAM to it in the open slot, bringing it to a total of 6GB, which is what Synology officially supports. So I bought a Synology RAM actually, which at that time I should have probably considered other options. Now, I gotta mention here that the community has proven that you can go way beyond that. You can go way beyond the official specs. that people have successfully installed 8 gigabytes or even larger models, bringing them up to 10 gigabytes or even more with 16 gigabytes RAMs. And those systems runs perfectly stable. Well, I don't have a backup NAS system, so I'm not willing to risk it just yet. So Synology's 6 gigabyte limit, to be honest, is just conservative, because even at 6 gigabyte official, is still a huge improvement, yes. But this phone right here has 16 gigabyte of RAM. This one I'm holding right here is more powerful than my NAS, which sucks. Yes, it sucks. So I have this connected with 2 network cables. So first I have the 1 gigabit Ethernet, which sort of manages the normal traffic, internet, or this and all that, to just one of the 1 gigabit Ethernet ports. And I also have a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet connected via USB, which is a lot of hack for me to actually go through. And to be honest, this does not make file transfer faster for me, just really because I use this between all of my computer systems in my office, and when I'm on the go, I need that speed also. So it brought the total of my speed averagely to about 2-3 gigabits now. So when my family members, my wife especially, needs to access the photos, for example, the pictures we take on Sundays or any other time of the week, they are all hitting the NAS fast and good. And because I also sync this across to Google Photos, because yes, I still know that resiliency and backup. I've lost once lost all my photos, so I still use Google Photos, yes. So that is what I've done. 1 gigabit and 2.5 gigabit via USB. It's a hack and it sort of works. Now, it comes with Plex, which is nice, but I don't use Plex because it's cumbersome and very worrisome to handle, so I just uninstalled Plex. My media library server is Jellyfin. It has over 200 movies, 50 plus TV shows, ranging from old standard definition stuff to giant 4K HDR files. For the record, okay, I switched from Plex to Jellyfin because, to be honest, Plex is just complex for me to use. Yes, I'm a little bit smart, but Plex is just too complex. I followed all the steps, it just wouldn't work. And Jellyfin has no paywall, so I just moved to Jellyfin and I'm good. I use it across my phone, my tablet. I can do offline downloads of my movies and stuff and still be good on the go. This setup has really been a great test of power for me for both direct streaming and on-the-fly video transcoding. The second thing I use the NAS for is that it's the backup for most of my digital life, all handled by Synology right here. Now, for my Windows computers, for my Mac computers, yes, I have a MacBook. Yes, I do. I back it up every night and I delete all the backups when I don't need them anymore. My Windows is also backed up, and I've done multiple system restores over the years from my laptop to my desktop to my Mac, and that backup really came in handy when I needed it. And I'm going to tell you this for a fact because people preach NAS systems as a replacement for the cloud. For me, it is not. And I'm not going to tell you marketing because no one is sponsoring this video, right? I'm going to tell you for a fact, nobody sent any of the device on my NAS to me. So I'm going to tell you this for a fact. Even if they did send it, I'm still going to tell you the truth. It will not replace the public cloud for me. Yes, I will slowly move away from the public cloud, as my home labbing system grows. But right now, at the phase I am right now, I'm still going to keep Google Photos especially, because I have a 5 terabyte subscription with them. I pay for that on a monthly basis. I might probably move that to a yearly basis once I have some little bit of change left. That's if you subscribe to my channel and watch all of my videos, so I can make money to buy Google One. And I'm going to keep OneDrive for business because I use it, okay? Synology Drive gives me the peace of mind for syncing my files. So I'm not cutting the ties with public cloud storage. No, I'm not doing that because I need it. I need that backup and peace of mind to know that even if my NAS fails, I can still have my most important files somewhere safe. But for Synology Drive, it's what I use for my video syncing and my backups, my proxies and all that. I'm going to make a video on how this helps my video workflow. And I can work from my desktop to my laptop, sync my files. When I finish recording this video, especially now, all I have to do is plug in my SD card to my computer, click an app on my computer, it goes to Synology Drive, which is synced to a SMB share on my NAS, and I can open DaVinci Resolve, create my proxies, and work from any of my computers, from desktop to laptop to mobile. That's mobility. It's also where my wife and I share family photos and documents. The public cloud for now remains a public safety net. Stable, self-filling, that are now to worry about setting up because, of course, this thing overheats in the summer. And I'll slowly phase out those subscriptions as my home lab setup grows. Simple, right? That's it. And the other thing I've done with this NAS system is that I've run several Docker containers on it. Specifically, I'm going to specificate the ones I run every single time that are on 24/7. Cloudflare Tunnel for secure remote access to my local services without exposing ports. Jellyfin for my media library. N10 for my super automated workflows, my postings, all my social media sharings. Some time ago, I experimented Posties, and I revisited in the future once I hack the Facebook secret automation thing, Meta's API limitations. When I hack it, I'll probably move back to Posties or any other service available in that time. But currently now I use Potato on the public internet for managing my social media automation. And this usage has really tested the CPU, the RAM with constant varied workloads. Currently now I'm testing how to run image with a 6GB RAM. So I put a limit of 2GB on the entire image system. Maybe I'll up that a little bit if I have a workaround for that. And it's also my archive for my old videos. I currently have about 40 terabytes drives in this one, and I'm about 35 terabytes into it right now. Yet a lot of files, I know, don't tell me, I know already. And I will get larger drives to replace the older ones. And I don't want to invest in more drives now simply because I have a 16GB RAM lying around. I might just buy an old computer and make that my own lab to actually move those files to, so that my Synology sort of remains the on-the-go setup, and then that system becomes the archive storage. But that's a future video, and I'm not even going into that right now. So that's that. Now let's get into the full details, the good, the bad, what I still love about it after over a year, where the strengths of this device are, and if you should maybe consider getting one, because if you don't want the drive lockdown thing, you have to consider something that is not released in 2025 by Synology. Simple truth. I have come to depend on Synology NAS, my NAS system, every single day. If I have another NAS system, I'll probably have the same level of dependence on it, because a few things really stand out about it for me. First, it's solid. The hardware is good, the software is good, although the RAM and CPU is limiting, but it's been in non-stop operation, except when it overheats, for over a year. I installed my updates, and the units experience overheating, especially in summer times. And to deal with this, because most times when they actually overheat, I'm not at home. It means my storage is gone. I cannot sync anything. I cannot edit my videos. So what I've done to that is I bought a little bit of a clicky thing, switch board remote switcher, that once it turns off and I monitor my temperature, I have this little device that tells me what the temperature in my home office is. So once I see that it comes down, I just trigger the remote to turn it on again, and it does its recovery stuff and things go back to normal. So that was my hack around summer times now. So next summer I know I'm sort of covered, and I'll probably put it in a more spacious place where it's flowy and all that, because in summer it gets pretty hot, especially for UK homes. So that's what I've done to overcome that, because it overheats in summer. That said, outside of summer, it's kind of set up and forget, to be honest. It just sits right on the rack behind me here, and it works. The two fans work nice. They don't make noise, and at best they consume max 31 watts when they are busy, and as low as 8 watts when they're not. So you can leave this on all year round and still not get nice electricity bills. And for me, the reliability for me that I found in the Synology NAS DS423 Plus is that this DSM software, which is the OS, is sort of a gold standard for a reason. It's polished, it's mature, easy to use, and over the years, it's gotten a bunch of updates. It starts some AI stuff, which, to be honest, I don't use. When I click install, it reboots, and it's cool. It's currently, at the time of recording this video, runs DSM 7.2, And it's sort of a dream for the hardware, but I know over time it's gonna get bloated and degraded because of my RAM. So that's one thing to note. And the Synology Drive app is clean, it's good. The backup system is good, although I still use Google Photos a lot heavily because I share with people outside of my nuclear family. Because I wouldn't want to use Synology Photos for that, to be honest. The performance also for running Jellyfin is seamless. It runs just like butter because I have a 512 gigabytes drive for my SSD cache, which sort of works quite fine for me. It uses Intel QuickSync for the video transcoding, which is sort of a strictly weapon for hardware encoding videos and all that. So it sort of makes sense for my media server also. And the network connection for me is nice for a Plus Series NAS, probably because of the year it was manufactured. 1 gigabit sucks. Okay, home networking is moving fast. In 2023, we had 5 gigabit, 10 gigabit internet. Having a 1 gigabit internet in a 2023 system is just fraud. All right. So what I've done is I added 2.5 gigabit system as a workaround to make it work for me seamlessly when I'm in my home. So that is the workaround which sort of makes me dislike it. Okay. So now compare. If I'm transferring over 1 gigabit internet, a 25 gigabyte video will take about 5 minutes to copy. With 2.5 takes a little under 2 minutes max to sync over from my Synology drive to the SMB share. You know what makes the Synology NAS networking worse for me is that you cannot upgrade the network. Unlike some of its siblings, it has no slot for faster network card as an official option. So you have to go through that workaround that I mentioned. The CPU, old. Intel Celeron J4125, old. While it's great for Plex, which I don't use, this is a 2019 processor. It sips power. The power is still affordable for me, to be honest, but it just does not have the strength of the newer chips. I noticed this when I mostly started running Docker containers. It just would hang. Multiple apps cannot run when Docker is running. We know that already. As a developer, we know that. And the interface spikes will just show me things popping up. The system will just be inaccessible. My Cloudflare tunnel will stop. My N8N automations will stop, which sucks. Okay, it sucks for me. That's that review here. And the fact that I cannot expand the storage also, it's not a good thing for me. It's a 4-bay NAS, and that's all it will ever be. It does not have an eSATA port that can use to expand. Although, yes, technically you can have a DAS system, a 4-bay, 8-bay RAID DAS system and connect via the USB 3.0 ports. It's still not it. Okay? So after archiving, backing up, it's almost full. So if you buy a NAS, especially if you're into video making, thinking it's going to last you 5-7 years, with this model, that's not true, because over the 1 year that I've used it, my file size have grew from from about 10 terabytes to 35 terabytes. That's a lot. I have to set up a schedule to clean up my recycle bins every week. So it's a lot. So you need to consider that also as you try to think about the system. And the Synology tax. It's trying to move you towards a locked ecosystem. I've said this over and over in this video. I don't like that. With the 425 Plus, which is the successor to this one, you're just logged in the system. If you don't buy Synology drive, although there's unofficial workarounds to it, it ain't just gonna work. RAM, costly, extortionate. NVMe SSDs, expensive. So after over a year of using this, would I still buy the 423 Plus with the options available in the market right now? For sure, I will not buy Synology system. I will not. I will most likely consider, if I don't want to build it myself, consider platforms like Ugrain and ZimaCube, because they offer more open systems, more performance systems at about the same price, at better price points, which makes the long-term value proposition for anyone looking to start a NAS system in their home office or in their small business. So it sort of makes the Synology system questionable for me. Yes, I did recommend it over a year ago, but right now, I'm sort of regretting that. If you value hardware freedom, I don't want a vendor lock-in. The writing is on the wall. This Synology system is not for you. For 2025, 2026 and beyond, it is not for you. And I'm not trying to say this because I do not like Synology. They make great hardware, but the lock-in, no. I will, in the nearest future, build my own home lab system where I install something like a true NAS on it, because I'm not going to do any vendor system NAS anymore. I will not do that because over a year I've learned a lot about home labbing and NAS systems that I can actually build on myself. I have 10 gigabyte of RAM lying around. I can add more to it. I could expand my storage with rack mounts as much as I want to. As my storage needs grow, as my computing grows, I will grow that over there. So DS423 Plus, no. Ugreen, you can consider. Zima Cube, you can consider, and any other NAS system actually out there for you. So for a first-time buyer, from a value proposition, I do not recommend this after 1 year. Okay, go for Ugreen, go for Zima Cube, go for Oracle NAS systems. They would probably serve you better, and they support larger drives. Okay, that is my recommendation for you after 1 year of using the Synology NAS DS423 Plus. So my recommendation is kind of yes, but at a 40%. More 60%, if you're thinking of the bigger picture, is it's not for you, because the NAS system, NAS ecosystem has grown by leaps from 2025 up until now. So consider building your own if you have the technical know-how, or you can read tutorials and actually go through them. All right. That is my honest review after 1 year of using the Synology DS423 Plus NAS system. My humble submission, I'm getting back to work now, folks. I'll see ya. Goodbye.